better at whenever you get those random, volume spikes on just names throughout the day that it hasn't had any volume, and I'm always like, all right, is it just gonna die off or is it gonna continue up? And I think what I'm starting to realize more and more, and starting to really try to hone in, is you have like that huge stick of volume, and then it's coming back to test that eight. That's kind of like what I want to risk off, is that eight. Um, but if there's this volume afterwards is like really small compared to that first leg, it's kind of like red flags to me. I guess here, yeah, that's the very beginning. I didn't see it then. But when it came back and tested back down here, I mean, it just ended up dying. Um, so I'm gonna keep looking at, like, whenever we get those random names. I think what they need to have is like consistently heavier volume. Then again, if you look at the one, it really paints a different picture. There was still some consistent volume there, but it just died off.
Yeah,
Um,
overall in that one to me is like that volume came out of nowhere.
yeah, definitely did.
Like
So
even before like in the beginning of the day, there was like no volume at all. It was just trading
yeah,
sideways.
yeah. So maybe just too random, like too.
Yeah,
Um,
like there's no setup there really. Like unless you get like let's say for example you get 1 minute consolidation or something like that. Like and then
yeah,
you slowly start creeping up and you can actually see buyers stepping in because like looking at the volume on the one, it kind of just faded out. It didn't really hold up or anything. Like sure it did try. Buyers did step in. I
right
could
here.
see that. No, a
Yeah,
little.
there's right here.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah,
following over there. It obviously did try. Buyers were present, but like overall,
yeah,
I feel like there's just nothing really to back the move.
yeah. It's something I'm trying to get myself more familiar with. So I just kind of wanted to like throw it up and look at it. Um, but yeah, definitely gonna look for some more buyers, a little more consistency on it. Um, and then the other thing I really wanted to go over is that the intellect. There's something about whenever something pushes up and it comes back in. Wait, is this a flag? That was way earlier. Yeah, so it had that leg up, died off, but this one right here, when you have that nice igniting volume right here, that made I was like, all right, I just like sat there, and this is the only thing on my screen. I don't care what's going on out there. I was just sitting. Where was it? Yeah, right here. I just sat and waited and wait. I didn't buy this pullback. I even saw it ran up. I was like, damn, I missed it. And then it came back down, and I just like slammed it.
Yeah,
Um, and it just ripped. And I think like whenever you have those plays that they have that pop up, they pull back, and then you get at some point you get that 5 minute with a lot of volume, and it's either it tests the highs or it goes past it. Um, what is it? This one? I think I played this one twice. Yeah, I had it here. This one, as well as later in the day, it had the same thing. But this one, actually, yeah, this one right here blew through the previous highs and then came back and tested a little below it. This is the one I was looking at there. Sorry, I was confused there. But this is the one that pushed up to the previous highs, and same thing. I was looking for levels. I tried to look on the 5 minute to figure out. All right, so pushed up, and then I was like, all right, where is it gonna test? Like this is too close, and it's not even close to the eight. And then there was, let's see what it was. That one to me was pretty low. I think I ended up deciding this was the level I was really looking at because it was this body of the candle, this body of the candle, the bottom of this body,
yeah.
the wick of this one. So I was really looking for that. And as soon as it broke, let's see, show the right spot. That was way over here. Oops. yeah, so as soon as it broke that 8 and came down towards that 22, lines up perfect with kind of that level, and so just like slams so hard in that, and then it just rips. That's like my favorite play right now. Is anything where it has that leg up, it kind of comes down, either tests it or goes past it, and then has that pullback. And it's really powerful. I feel like.
Yeah,
And
Acor was.
I didn't catch any of the move after that. I didn't catch any of that.
Yeah, Acor
But
was
all like,
beautiful.
yeah. I mean, but then again, I mean, look at this. You're buying down here. That's 13. You know, like, I think I sold my last leg somewhere in here, like 9 or 10%. But that is plenty for one move for me. Um, so that was definitely my biggest one was Acor. I think I played it this year. I played it late at the stage.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
So the 5 looks pretty, but when you get in, wherever you did, and then you play the 1, it's so chunky.
So
What was your stop loss? I mean, how did you manage to stay in that long?
So I'm super scout first off. So I sell really this leg right here, this first 2 minutes, I'm out half my position here. I'm already out half. The rest of my money, I'm just literally I'm waiting for it to break even or whatever. And then it rips up again, up into and so as soon as like it rips, I'm already taking some off, and then I took some more off a little bit later.
But
But
those green candles are, I mean, they look nice right there at the end of the 1 minute, but during that 1 minute, it's up down from down.
like right here,
No, up,
up here.
yeah, right there. It goes,
Yeah. Well, it's still respecting that 8 though,
yes.
and so it never crossed that too. Um, and
Yeah,
also
I guess.
I'm in from down here, so like this point that you're so profitable, like you can watch that 8 a little bit more.
I almost get stopped out
Higher up or
everywhere.
everywhere. The biggest thing for me is I always really harp on my entries. Like I want to get pretty much bottom tip, like as close as I can. It doesn't have to be necessarily bottom. It can be somewhere in here. But I'm waiting for it to get close to this level. And a lot of times, like it happens fast too. Like a lot of times, like it'll be like up here and like boom, and then it comes back up, and then as soon as it drops, I'm buying. Like I don't even know if it's quite at my price or not. I'm just slamming the buy button.
Yeah,
So
my
like
luck goes, I'll buy down there, and then it'll keep going south.
keep going down.
Yeah.
So what I mean, if I bought in right here and it kept slamming down, then it's not holding the risk I wanted. So I need to cut
Right.
pace. And sometimes I fall into like I'll think okay maybe it's gonna bounce this. I might take a small size earlier, um, for like a small bounce, and then if it bounces a little, I'll just like sell it. Like it might not be the right practice either, but I'm only going in heavy if it's gonna be that big. At least that's what I try to do. Obviously, some days like last week, your mind isn't right and you don't play as well. And then yeah, you watch your EMAs and stuff.
Yeah, to add on to what you're pointing out with the EMAs, another thing is like 1 minute levels. So like you break over a previous resistance level, like all these minor ones. Yeah, like right there, or scroll your
Yeah,
mouse up just a bit. Yeah, like right over there, you break over that level.
yeah,
Now you're on the one
that
minute, you're
previous
holding it
line.
as support, and even that little minor resistance level below it, where you bounced off that 62 pivot, you kind of had that little run up. Yeah, like that little minor resistance level. You could see how
Yeah,
it was acting as support a couple candles ago on that big move down
yeah, like
on
right
that
here.
on
Yeah,
that hammer. So you have that big move up and then kind of that hammer right over there after the big move up, and then you could
this one.
yeah, right besides it. Yup. So that candle was acting as support, and then you could see how it was acting as resistance. We pulled in, then we finally
Yeah,
broke over it, and we didn't retest it, but that's completely fine. That's just the stock telling you that it's very strong. But And then you break through your next resistance level, you hold it as support. You can keep plotting these levels, and they'll keep showing you how they're holding. Like even the top of the candles that you're on right now, if you plotted a line there, you would see that they came down and retested as support.
Like you didn't, as long as it stayed on the 8, you didn't care what the 1 minute candle.
Dude, honestly, when I'm looking at this, I don't look at the one. I'm looking at the 8. So like whenever this
You're
one right
looking
here,
at
I'm looking
the
at
5
8.
minute candle the whole
Yeah,
time.
sorry, the 5 minutes. I'm looking at 8. Yeah, I'm looking at the 5. I'm not. I don't care what's going on because to me this is very deceptive. Like, and it messes with you. You see it going and you're like the emotions in it. If you look at this,
I do, I'll do 100 trades on the same stuff.
yeah.
Because I'm in and out, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out.
I feel you. I have a similar. I trade a lot too, and it's something that when I trade less, I do better. I don't even know what my count is today. I'll look at it, but I'm sure it's much less than the 400 whatever I was talking about the other week.
So choppy that, yeah, I end up scalping.
Yeah. So maybe something to move forward is watch the 8 a little more, or not the 8, the 5 minute a little more for your entry, and then once you're entered, it's okay for it to kind of like bounce around, because it's gonna take buyers a while to get more confidence, for people to really let it get going. People are gonna take profits, so they're gonna be bouncing. So that's kind of I like to look at the 8 more for sure. And then I try to sell in the areas that look like resistance, or just if there's too much green on my screen, which I have a bad habit of just selling. Solid as that. I need to get better. But yeah, so that's like I think what I'm realizing is my favorite type of setup is to have a big leg up, kind of comes down or something, or later on after it's consolidated for a while with a lot of volume, leg up. I don't care what's going on anywhere else. This is all I'm looking at. I'm not looking at chat. I'm not looking at anything. I'm just focused, ready, finger on that buy button, and I'm just waiting for it to get that pull down towards this. It doesn't have to hit it. It can go a little bit past it, but if it's coming down, I'm buy, and then after I'm in, I like sit and I'm like, okay, where did it level out? And if I need to, I can start selling. That's kind of where my mind's at when I'm in a trade. So that was wanted to go over that and Genius. Those are the 2 things I really wanted to go over as far as my trading day goes. So
Nice.
if you want,
Yeah, yeah, I'll take over. Yeah, Acore was really nice, man. I'll share my screen and get into my trades.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing with Acore too, before
Still on your screen, so go ahead.
Yeah, was this resistance was one thing too that I was kind of worried about in this area. And then I didn't trade here because this was like the previous high, and I was a little worried that you had that volume up and you had the slow volume down.
Nice 5-minute flag.
Do it.
That's a nice 5-minute flag right there.
It really is, but where you had to break this previous high, which is like pretty much it, like all the way back. So in my eyes, like I also don't play longer flags like that. I just don't feel as comfortable waiting that long. So I stepped away from it, but it blew right through it. That flag was too beautiful.
Yeah.
And then it used it as support.
Yeah, previous resistance turning into support. That's key.
Yep. But alright, I'll let you get into it. So.
Yeah. All right. So first one for me of the day was FNHC, I believe. Yeah, this was the name. So I was. What's up?
Can I ask you a question?
What's up?
How did you hide the account number
Oh, so you're gonna go to your main screen, so whatever screen you're executing on, and then in the upper left-hand corner, um, it's gonna have like option buying power, and then you're gonna click on that, and then there's gonna be a little thing that says privacy.
Is it in the account info? No.
Yeah, so it should be in the upper left-hand corner. So like, yeah, let me just show you. So oh no, it's not letting me drag my screen. Come on. So it'll be right over here. You click on the option BP.
Hang on, let me grab your screen.
So you're gonna click on this right here that says option BP, and then you're gonna click privacy.
I start right off on the top line with
Do you have a account info drop down menu?
yes.
Yeah, click that, and then right below account info, there's option buying power. Right click that.
Yeah, I
Click
don't.
that.
Yeah, I'm on
And it's a little
margin, so
different.
I don't know if it's gonna be different.
It's just a little bit, but yeah. But if you just click under the account info, there's that option buying power. Click that, and then it should give you a little like toggle switch price.
Right. So again, under my account information, it goes right into the spy chart.
You need to click on.
Ours is different. Ours is different too. Man. Whoops.
You need to
I'll
click
figure it
on
out.
monitor.
I'll figure it out. It's okay.
No, we'll get you set up real quick. It'll only take a second. So right here, you're gonna, to activate this feature, click on the down arrow to the right of your option buying power and net liquidity and day trades in the account info panel. And the screen that pops up, there's a switch towards the upper right that says privacy. Click the switch and all of your specific account data will be hidden throughout the platform. So here's like, I guess, a little video. You can see it right over
Where is
here
that?
in the upper left hand corner. Kind of fast forward through it.
Right. I have no line that says option buy.
Click on monitor. There's gonna be the
Monitor what?
it's gonna be the first tab on the left. Should say
All right,
monitor,
click on monitor.
and then let me see. I've never done it through monitor, to be completely honest.
There's also if you don't have option buying power, click on those little three lines, three dots to the right of account info, and you can do customize gadget, and then you can add in. So then maybe add in option buying power. I don't know if that helps or not, but the show actions menu, you know what I'm talking about there?
Yep, I'm in it.
Alright, and then customize gadget, and then if there's not option buying power, then select it, and then add item, and hit OK.
Yep.
And it should pop up, and then you should be able to click it. Did that work?
Yes, it did.
Perfect,
Sweet.
perfect.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. So first trade of the day for me was FNHC. Looking for this 96 flat top, E.T. Safilas. I'm probably butchering his name, but he was the one who called it out on the Warrior Trading stream. I didn't get long with him. I actually waited. I wouldn't say I wasn't confident in the position. I just didn't really. He was like adding right into the open, and like that's just not my way of trading. So I hung out for a second. I waited. Market open. We get the big inflow of buyers. We fly through the $1 resistance area, or the 96 resistance area. Sorry, we squeeze through run. As soon as we break a dollar, this is kind of a breakout trade, and I'm not really a breakout trader at all. However, I did take a stab at this just because I don't know, I felt very confident in it. Once we blew through the 96 with the volume that we did, right when we got up to a dollar, I started smacking the buy button for a little breakout trade. I was ultimately looking for the squeeze to 105, then the squeeze up to 110s, and that's exactly what happened. So just to give you a little walkthrough of it. So came up here as soon as we got up to that $1. I started smacking it. We hit a high of like 103. Still didn't take anything off. We end up opening over a dollar, pull into a dollar, hold a dollar. You could see kind of low volume on the selling pressure inside of that candle. Next candle, that same candle, buyers step in. We push all the way to 109 and started scaling some off at 107s, 106s. Then we kind of formed this 1 minute flag over here. And I believe if I go on the 3 minute, you can kind of see it. Yeah, not really. So it was a 1 minute flag set up right over here. VPA wasn't the clean. Well, no, VPA was actually clean. We have our run up, low volume pullback into our support area. Also held our EMA 8. And then right around here, more buyers stepped in. We got the squeeze through 110. And ultimately over here, I was looking for, 115, 120, and, continuation on the daily. I'll go over the daily. I'll kind of show you that level that I had drawn out. So this was the 113 level that I was looking for a breakthrough. And I was like, okay, if we get through 113, 112s, could probably get the squeeze up into 115. Through 115, we could probably squeeze up into the 120 area. Ultimately, it didn't happen. And I took some more off in the 110s. As soon as we cracked this 107 pivot, I was out of my position. Why did I sell there? Because you can see that this was an area of resistance. We broke over. We tried holding it as support here, held here, held here. Once we violated on this candle, the next candle came up, couldn't break through it and hold over it. So I exited full at 107. We end up dumping all the way into 97s. And then I believe I played this name again. We kind of came up, we kind of had this 1 minute flag set up, or I'm sorry, this 5 minute flag set up. Not really the cleanest with this stuff candle. I believe I got filled at 103 here. We had a few pops into like 104. Ultimately, didn't get any off. Once we cracked the VWAP at 98, I cut that one. So that was, a little paper cut on a pretty green trade over here. So that was my trade on FNHC off the open. Kind of a breakout trade. Will I play a breakout trade again? Probably not, just because I felt very uncomfortable. Like it was something very new. I don't normally slap through a resistance level. But overall it was pretty clean. We had a dollar break, 1 minute flag, continuation. I probably wouldn't be saying the words I'm saying now if this thing, started opening up. I probably would have been like, oh, this was sick, 1, 2, 3. But if I'm being honest with myself, I wasn't very comfortable taking the trade, but I was like, okay, the volume's coming in, the times and sales was lighting up. I remember the bidders were stacked near a dollar. Like once we got over a dollar on the level 2 was freaking like a brick wall. Like you would need a big sell order to break through it. And then, obviously you can tell because like even looking right, we held a dollar here, held the area here, held here. Like so many buyers at a dollar trying to protect the dollar, and then finally when we gave it out here, it's kind of like, all right, that's it. And I believe when we started dumping over here, this is when Acor started opening up. So that was pretty clean over there. Those are my 2 trades on FNHC. Then we had iLag right over here. This was opening up while Acor was opening up. iLag setup I'll take any day. Really like this setup, however, it just didn't work out. So we had this kind of 322, 324 area pivot over here. You could see we had our nice run up on high volume, low VPA pullback into the pivot, kind of painted a nice 5 minute flag for us. I got long right here at $3.27. I was looking for the breakthrough VWAP and try to squeeze into the 350s. We did get a pop into 337s. I took some off at 335. And ultimately this candle got stuffed. And I wrote in the Goblin Gang chat, I like 5 minute flag here against 327 pivot. over 337 here, view up, we could start testing higher. So I was looking for that 337 break through the view up to, you know, come up and test 340s, 350s. And then where's the message where I was like, I cut? Yeah, I like cut right here. And I actually got a pretty good fill on this cut. So this did flush into $3. Like it would have been a bad trade, really bad trade. However, when this on the one, when it started violating this 323 area or 324 area pivot right over here, as soon as this candle opened and it started flushing, I started selling out, and I actually got filled at 322, 321. So I could say, you know, I protected a lot in this, but like I was saying, you know, 5 minute flag setup I'll take any day of the week. You give me a 5 minute flag that looks just like this, I'll take it again. Ultimately, there just wasn't enough buyers for this one, and you know we couldn't make the move to the upside. One thing I will say is I should have noticed the selling on the tape, because looking at it now, volume was very low, so you know there was a standstill. You know, buyers and sellers were trying to see who's gonna overpower who. But something that I could do in the future is like notice, okay, we have all these upper wicks, and normally wicks don't bother me because when there's a good flag setup and good volume comes in, you blow right through it, and then these wicks are, you know, they're nothing really to be worried about. But like going forward, because I'm looking at this now and I'm seeing all these wicks, I should focus more on the tape. And I remember when I was in this, I was kind of back and forth on A-core, so I didn't really, you know, sit there and focus on the tape. But going forward, that's something I should do. Looking at it later in the day, you know, we kind of consolidated near 3. We kind of tested low a day here. Oh wow, this is a nice 5 minute flag too over here. That gave you that first leg, really nice. And then anyways, later in the day, you could see, you know, volume came in, kind of 5 minute flagged, and ultimately this is kind of the same setup. So this is what should have happened on the setup that I was taking. You know, a nice 5 minute flag, and then, you know, buyers come in, we push up into 345s, 350s, but you know, ultimately that did not happen, and you know that's okay. So that was my one trade on iLag. A-core, this was the play of the day, man. So A-core, noticed it in pre-market. Daily had a lot of range. I remember noticing that, and then ultimately, you know, at the open, I did take some over here. I got filled over here at, I believe it was 53 something, or I'm sorry, 52 something. Reason I got filled is we reclaimed over this 51 area here, so my risk was off 51. Kind of tried putting in a 1 minute flag, had some pops into 54, which I was scaling out into. And then, you know, ultimately I was looking for this down trend line break. And so I was looking for the down trend line break here, you know, retest and hold and, you know, continue higher. Ultimately, we didn't get it, and I ended up selling out for like a break even at 51 area. We came down, and then I know RCB was in chat. He was telling me, yo, take a look at it down here. It's looking really good. We're holding our pre-market lows and, you know, our initial low a day. Didn't get any ads down here. I kind of wanted to, you know, let it give me some kind of confirmation. And, you know, patience paid on this one. So I'll show you guys where I got long. Got long right here in 53.8s. You can see my average right over here, 53.84. And reason I added over here, you can see we had the high volume push through our downtrend. Didn't really retest it here. So I was like, okay, you know what? We're probably going to come down and retest this line because, you know, we didn't really pull back and retest it at all. So we pushed really high. Excuse me. We pushed really high into our 57 pre-market resistance. You can see that right over here. And then ultimately we start pulling back into our downtrend line. Right over here, you can see the volume kind of slimming down, getting lower and lower. That's where I got long, 53.84. Risk was below this. Believe it was the 52 area, 51-ish area right off this pivot over here. So ultimately, stop loss wasn't hit. More buyers really stepped in, and I believe this was also a 5-minute flag, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so you kind of had this 5-minute flag set up too into the downtrend test line. So I was like, okay, let's go. You know, this thing's probably gonna open up for us here. So we get our pop. I start scaling some off into 56s, into 57s, and then, so yeah, you know, then I was like, okay, A-core, another 5-minute flag here. You can see the 5-minute flag right over the 57 area pivot, which would be right over here. And then you can see all these lines in the screenshots I was taking. And I actually, like, as I was looking at my chart, I'm like you guys can see all these lines. I was like, man, these too many lines right now. I need to, get rid of these lines. I was starting to get confused. And so what I did was I literally erased everything, and I put a line here and I put a line here, because that's where we were now. We kind of had this 5-minute 3-bar, you could say, 5-minute, flag, whatever you want to call it. That's the screenshot I sent in chat. And then right after, I was like, A core 63 next. Right when we got our pop into 63, 64, I was out of my position completely. It did open up. Not mad about it. It ended up really opening up, and as a trader, a lot of people would start knocking on their heads like, oh man, look at this move I missed. But realistically, you don't need to catch that whole move. Sure, I could have done what RCB did, and because RCB, what he did was he put a stop loss like a couple pennies above his entry, and he walked away and let the trade work. And something you can do, but just not something I would do in this market. Too much indecision in my opinion. But it worked out in his favor, and he was able to get out of his position in the 70s. Right after this, we had a nice move in. We pulled back into this pivot, low volume, retested, put in another 5-minute flag here and continued higher. Another 5-minute flag here, another one here, and so on. Ultimately, after I sold out, that was it for me for the day. I went to the gym. Fast forward, we have this whole freaking move over here. Was not in it at all for any of this move. So this move, I was in the gym, whatever, doing my thing. And then I come back to my desk later in the day, and there actually is one trade that I took at the gym, and I'll get into that. I traded NutX with Mikey. So let me find my message real quick, because I did play, when I got back to my desk, I did play A-Core. Somewhere right here. Come on now. Yeah, right over here, 87s. So I got A-Core right here, watching A-Core here, kind of a 5-minute flag setup. That was right over here. You can see we had our leg up, low volume pullback into our 86 area pivot. I'll draw that out for you right over here. So you can see kind of resistance here, flat top, flat bottom support, held over here as well. So I got long 86 into this pivot. Or I'm sorry, I got long 87 into this pivot. Or what was my average exactly? Yeah, 87.4799. So that was my average. Got long as soon as we had this pop through 90, because I noticed 90 was this big level. If you look left, you could see 90 was this really big level that we needed to clear over. And as soon as we cleared over 90, I started peeling profits off the table. I took some off at 89, took some off at 91. Then we kind of had this 3-bar setup. We got another pop into like 93s. I believe I scaled a little bit off into 92s. And then right when we started pulling back in, it was like literally 3:58, 3:59 p.m. I sold my piece out at 89 cents, and I wrote that somewhere over here. So this was the flag that I was looking at. And I believe it was like 3:59 exactly. So let me find 3:59. That's 401. I hope I can find it right now. Well, anyways, whatever. I can't find it. But yeah, so I sold my last piece out at 89. I put it in the stock chat, not the trading floor. And then, ultimately, right when I sold out, I was like, all right, come on, now they're going to take it to a dollar plus. And, that's exactly what happened. But, clean trade on this one. Really nice 5-minute flag. This is like another example to compare it to iLag. Is like, you can't be afraid. You see the setup, the probability of the setup. You've played it so many times that it's like, okay, if this 5-minute flag doesn't go, then I know the 5-minute flag that I catch after this will go, or maybe the 10-minute flag will go. And so this was overall a really nice, I guess you call it little scalp, little 4 or 5% scalp. And so that was pretty cool to end the day. There was actually 2 more trades. There was INPX right before the close, 10-minute flag. So I'll get into that one before I get into NutX. INPX, I was noticing it right here. It was really more of a scalp trade. I noticed this support area over here off of this 880 area pivot. If you look left, you get this pivot all the way from pre-market, kind of at the open, but not really exactly. So anyways, we get our leg up, we consolidate, get another leg up, kind of put this 5 minute flag in before this knife over here. So I was looking to get long against nines. However, everyone in chat, they were in the stock chat, not the trading floor. So everyone in the stock chat was talking about it, and they were kind of saying how they were, thinking it was struggling or whatnot. So I was like, all right, you know what? Let me, sit this out for a second. Let me see if we get a dip into our 880 area pivot, and let me flip my time frame to a higher time frame. Because if I'm being honest with myself, this is not the cleanest flag. This is not clean at all. This is not something I would buy into on a 5 minute. However, you go to a 10 minute, look at that, really clean. So I went on the 10 minute time frame. I was like, all right, mindset coming into this trade. We got this solid pivot over here. You can see a low volume pullback into the pivot. When we came down into the pivot, it kind of matched the previous volume bar. However, it was still relatively low to the buying pressure that caused the move higher. So I felt pretty confident to get in a position over here. I got a bad average. I got filled 902s. We flush into 880s. I'm like, man, this pivot's still holding. I believe it was on the 1 minute where I went to, and I was like, man, like, look at this. We're consolidating low volume. Let's see if they pull a Yui. So when we were down here, I actually bought more. I doubled down on my position, took my average from 902, got my average down all the way to 892. Or I'm sorry, 893, 892, something in that area. So my average became all the way down here. Still kind of far from my risk. However, we started curling up. And then, 10 minute doesn't really look the best on the break. You can see, we had kind of a low volume push up. However, if you go to the 1 minute, you can see, we had the low volume consolidation, failed follow through on the bear flag through the 880 area pivot. And I remember telling myself in this trade, like, I was like, all right, if we just violate 880 one time, if we just tap 879, I'm cutting. Like, even though there's these wicks over here that go to 874, I don't care. I'll be down too much. If we crack 880, I am out. Ultimately, we didn't even touch we didn't even touch 879s. You can see on the 1 minute, buyers start stepping in. We get a really high volume push right here, right over our EMA trade line. Right when we cracked 9, you could see that 9 was this really big level. Right over here, like 902, $9 area. Support here, resistance all throughout here. Also some support here on this drop. And as soon as we cracked through 9, I started bam, bam, sell, sell. I started taking some off. We got another little push into 920s, but I was out by then. I believe my last take profit on this one was into like 912, 913. Because like I said, I was going in for a scalp. And I'll be completely honest, when I was in this and I doubled down on my position, it's not something I would really do, especially on a small cap. So when I seen the green, I did not hesitate to take it at all. Right when I seen green, I just started peeling it off the table because I didn't want this thing to reverse on me. I kind of didn't want to take the L, and I thought of another way that I could get my average down, and really the only way to do that is to put more money in. Very risky. If it did crack 880, I would have had to take a loss that I wasn't really comfortable taking. However, in my favor, it worked out, and if it did crack 880, I would have just had to deal with it. It was the risk I was accepting to take. You can kind of see we came up here, we kind of had another 1 minute flag, tried to put another leg up before ultimately stuffing down. However, I was out of it. I was out on this complete leg over here into like 915, 916 area. So pretty clean trade there. And then NutX, we had that 5 minute setup right over here at the highs, kind of into this 102 area pivot over here. You could see it. I got long 107, so someone sucked this up, and then we started curling up. I got long right here at 107. I remember I was lifting a dumbbell, and I was just like, all right, let me quickly find a trade. And so I got long 107. We ever move up into 110. Didn't take any off the table. It was only like 2 cents profit on the total amount of shares I had. Then I remember going over the 10 minute. 10 minute kind of had a nicer setup forming. It was trying to curl up here while bouncing off the EMA 8. Ultimately, we came up to, I believe it was 111s. Yeah, we came up to like 111. Still didn't take anything off. I remember going over the daily, and I was like, all right, you know what? We get over this. I'm sorry, where was it? We get over this 114 area. We could probably. Oh, that's so zoomed in. Hold on. I was like, if we get over this 114 area, we could probably come up to 120s. We get over 120s. We could probably start opening up into 135s. Ultimately, that didn't happen, clearly. and I remember I had a hard stop set at a dollar 2 cents. That's what I was willing to risk on the trade with the size I had. So we end up flushing down into here. We flush all the way down into a dollar one. My stop got hit right in this area, and I remember I left the gym, got in the car. I was like, all right, let me check on my NutX position. I got the little notification from Webull saying, your position was whatever, sold out at this price, whatever. And right when I opened the chart, I seen this candle, and I ran to my orders, and I was like, oh my god, if I got filled at this freaking price because of this candle, I'm gonna be so mad right now. But I'm pretty glad I had it at 102 and not a dollar or not 101, because I probably would have got caught in this. I think it ended up halting down. Um, so ultimately protected myself against this kind of. I guess you could say saved by a penny or two if you want, but yeah, NutX, nice flag, just overall failed. Um, Good trade idea by Mikey. One I would take any day with him, and ultimately it just didn't work. And it is what it is. Trying to think, is that everything? Yeah, that is everything. So yeah, those all the trades for me. Acor was the big winner of the day. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it for me. You guys have any questions? Anything you guys want to go over? Let me know.
One thing on the I-lag trade, something that Mike the Underdogs talked about before too, is if you have those big moves down, sometimes it's just, I don't know if that's the right thing to think of, but that move up might just be shorts covering that, shorted from the open or something.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so those kind of flags are always more risky. When
Yeah.
you kind of big move down, because it's not fresh momentum anyway. That's something that he's harped on. So after watching those videos, it like makes sense for sure. So,
Yeah, now that you say that, it does make a lot of sense, because like looking at it now, like you got to think, okay, we just had this huge drop in the morning. Like how many bag holders are in it from pre-market, trying to get that, dollar move up to the upside so they could sell out. But like ultimately,
right.
when I was looking at this, I'll go into it with the extended hours off. So when I see this, I'm like, okay, we have a lot of range to the upside now. Let's see. And the only reason why I thought of it like this is because I've seen it so many times with a small cap, is it'll get so much momentum, it'll end up like halting up, and it'll end up filling, like, I'm not gonna say it's gonna fill this whole gap, but like we could have possibly halted up into the fours. So like that's something that I was looking for at the time. But now that you mentioned that, yeah, like probably a lot of bag holders, a lot of shorts that were covering. But like
Yeah.
regardless of anything, you give me a flag this clean with this kind of beautiful VPA into a nice pivot, there's a very high chance I'm gonna take it.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to point that out. That's all.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that too. That's a very good point that you made. That obviously I failed to notice because I actually took the play, but
Yeah. Or I mean, even if you take it, just know that that's also less likely to continuation play than if it's like fresh Momo or something.
yeah, yeah. Even looking at it daily, like this thing looks like shit. It's
Yeah.
another thing Mikey was stressing about in one of his previous videos, is when the
Right.
daily looks like shit. You probably shouldn't expect much follow through out of it. I believe it was NutX that we just looked at. I wanted to point something out. This is something I'm gonna keep on watch for the next couple days, because I can kind of see not really the cleanest flag. It kind of failed to break out, or well, today would have been the day to play it, but you could see, if this comes down back into the 70s, starts consolidating or something, this might provide some opportunity. Nice high volume, low volume, high volume. So we got to see, how we open up tomorrow, but not actually something I'll be watching. But yeah, I like had the potential to open up. Obviously prove that to us, but it is what it is.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. Anyone else? You guys got questions? You guys got like stocks you trade? Come on, like everyone in here had to at least trade one stock. Come on. Let's share these trades, man. Let's learn from each other.
doesn't have to be a clean trade. It can be a shit trade, and
Yeah, like
just what
my
can you do better?
my Nutex trade I lost on, my I like trade I lost on. Like, who cares, man? I highly doubt that's why they're not sharing. They're maybe just shy or
Not doing stuff. Yeah.
yeah, or maybe they're like I don't know, like you said, doing stuff and they just can only listen at the moment. Who may? You used to talk every day, man. What happened? I remember I
I'm
used.
here. I'm just learning, man.
What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Any trades, man?
Just a couple on um, the same one we were talking about, Acor.
Okay, nice, nice. Where'd you get in?
I got in pretty early, but it was a quick scalp. You know, I was fearful that it was gonna kind of sell off, continuing. You know, as it came out of pre-market, you know, it was
Yeah.
kind of selling off and went off on my scanner, and I got in right below 49, and basically just I just took a quick trade. It was only for 2 cents, but
Not bad.
yeah. I've been trying to get out of the habit of taking these quick scalps and setting a stop loss and just kind of letting it ride. But I got up super early this morning, and I missed HC or whatever that one was. FNC.
FNHC, yeah.
Yeah, FNCH. Yeah. And it just really get under my skin.
It is what it is. You shouldn't let it get. You shouldn't let it. And I'm not saying it's getting you mad or anything, but you shouldn't let it bother you. You know why, man? There's always another one. There's always another one, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting hard for me though because Acor and I was watching Acor and INPX mainly today, and I ended up small red today, and I'm still only trading with 100 shares, and it's just it's frustrating because I can see these things developing, but I just missed the entry, and it throws everything off, and then I move to another ticker and try and focus on that. You know what I mean? It's kind of
It's frustrating. I hear it.
We've all been there. We've all been there for
Yeah.
sure.
Maybe
and even like last week with IMUX, man. I mean, that was pretty much the only thing
I remember that.
focused on all week. And it's like, like I was barely green on it, and I don't know. It's
maybe
just,
maybe you need to size down a little more. Like just so you can get like a lot of. I don't know if you're like emotional when you're in the trades or whatnot, but like maybe you need to size down a little more just so you can, eliminate that emotion completely, so it can kind of give you that confidence to just execute on the setup. So where if like you have to take the loss won't really bother you like at all.
yeah.
Or
I mean,
maybe even.
It's definitely not a bad idea. My main issue is just missing my entries, either not getting filled or a lot of times it'll wick past and I just won't get filled, and then it's just
Are you
I
buying
end up-
at limit?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't really do market with I'm not in my internet is atrocious, but it's the best that I can do where I live right now. So
Yeah, I just slap shit market.
I've tried market, I've tried buying ask, and I just get so burned, man. Because they always fill me at the most insanely high price.
Which brokerage do you use?
I'm using TOS right now.
Have you ever went into the settings and kind of adjusted the execution seconds Because on TOS,
Yeah,
okay, yeah. So
yeah.
you've done that.
I've done all, anything and everything that I can get a little bit more out of it.
If you're missing your entries too, on limit orders too, one thing you could do is spread out your limit orders. So like say you have 100 shares, maybe do like 30, 30, 30, or you know whatever it is, like and
That's
whatever.
not, yeah.
It's a good
I didn't
idea.
really think about.
And even if you don't get filled on all of them, like hey, at least you're like hey, all right, I got filled on the top bit, let it run. Like just play that as that play, even if it's not as much money as you want. It's just a way to get in and play your play that you want to play. But yeah, no, I've been good internet speed trading. That would drive me crazy.
Yeah, it's difficult, you know.
Yeah. But yeah.
And I mean, I'll hit, either market or the ask, and sometimes it'll take 10, 15 seconds for it to fill, and it always
Jeez.
waits until it peaks, wicks up, and I get filled, at the top of the wick, and then,
No, thank you.
What do you
it's,
have? What do you have connected to your internet? Like,
I just right now I live in the middle of nowhere in southern Colorado, and satellite is the only thing that I can, because I don't, I don't have the $800 I need for Starlink right now.
I hear you.
And I don't even know if that would be much better, but
Yikes,
and
man.
I'm not necessarily trying to be like a sheer momentum trader. Intraday also works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like your main goal is trying to get filled at the right price.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I hear you.
That is, and when I miss it, I end up chasing. And in the market that we're in, I mean, you miss one entry, and after one bar, I mean, the thing could, sell off for the next hour or two.
Exactly,
Which has
yeah.
happened,
Yeah, it has happened a lot, yeah.
and then I just keep taking these small paper cuts, but, they add up.
They definitely add up.
Yeah, I
But
hear you.
I definitely see things, and I have an understanding of things. It's just, missing those entries, man.
Try what Jizban said, because that's actually a very good idea. Spreading out the limit orders.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a really good idea.
And put the one in the middle, or whatever you did, put the one in the middle, the price that you want, and the one below it a little bit lower than what you think it'll hit, and the one above it a little bit above what you think it'll hit. And if you hit all three, then you hit exactly at whatever price you want to get filled. If you get, or I mean, whatever way you want to spread out. But
I would
No,
add
that's
something
really,
to that.
that's good. Good thinking.
I would just add something to that, like make sure the limit orders will amount to something you're comfortable taking. So let's say if it's 100 shares, maybe put one for 25, 25, 25, etc. Maybe put one for 20, 20, 20, 20, and so on. So that way you're not, oversizing. Because let's say you have a limit out for, hypothetically, let's say 300 shares, 100, 100, 100, and you're not comfortable trading 300 shares, right when the 300 shares get filled, if they do all get filled, you're going to be there like, holy shit. Like if you're down 2 pennies, you're going to be like, holy crap, like I didn't want this, and so,
Yeah.
manage it the right way.
yeah, for sure. For sure, make sure the total is what the total you would want to take
Yeah, definitely.
of all three. Yeah, or however many. For sure. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I keep finding myself in the same situation where it's like these things just run all day. And I had a really good entry this morning. But
Great
even
entry.
this morning, I felt like I was even chasing a little, and got filled higher than, I mean, it was only fractions of a cent, but it still just had me thinking that, I was chasing, and that's why I was kind of quick to sell, and especially seeing how much it was selling off, into a market open. It just kind of made me second guess myself, and
Yeah, market open is always going to be extra volatile. So, like, I would say, like, always give it a couple of minutes. Like, don't just jump into something. Just always
Well,
give
I
it a
just meant
couple
like
minutes
all,
and
from like what, like 4, like quarter to 5 your time. All pre-market it basically sold off.
oh, pre-market don't mean nothing. Don't focus on pre-market. When that bell hits, that's when the real volume is gonna come in.
Yeah.
Pre-market is so easily manipulated. If I go into pre-market and I buy 1,000 shares, I'll make a low float jump freaking 50 cents with 1,000 shares. Like pre-market is bullshit. You can like move things
Yeah.
so easily.
Also, too, sometimes like what I used to do in the past is wait 20, 30 minutes after market opens
Yep.
because it just lets things settle out. It lets you show where strength is, and then wait for a big green candle somewhere on the 5 minute, and
Yep.
then put your orders for the pullback. But just wait. Like if you're sitting there
Well, that's
waiting
kind of
for 5
like
minutes to come, no, you good.
well, like when it opened, you know, it sold off a little, and then there was that I mean, it wasn't a considerable pop, but I mean, it went from 48 to 53.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the 2 minute, right? 3-4 minutes into open, and so when that finished, that's basically right when I took, right when it started rounding again, because that's kind of my edge. Like I know coming out of a sell-off, I can get, at least hypothetical good entries.
Right. I feel you.
But I guess just being a little too, and I don't necessarily like trading the open because it is insane. It's
Yeah, very
insanely
insane.
volatile, and that's why I just wanted to take a quick scout. But ultimately, the thing ran the rest of the day, and
Yeah. Yeah, to add on to what just Ben said, believe it or not, I used to actually start my days at 9:45 a.m. I used to let like the first 15 minutes kind of digest and do whatever it's gonna do, because like he said, that morning volatility and like I said, that morning volatility is crazy, man. And if
yeah,
you I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but like majority of the
no, I
top gainers that are on like in the pre-market when the market opens, majority of them are not even there. There's usually like maybe three, four, or five of them that are still on the top gainers. So it's a very good way to find relative strength and find the ones that actually have the volume on them, and then later in the day you get more and you go from there.
yeah. I mean, for a while, I wasn't even, I wouldn't even get down and open the computer until like 9:45 my time, which is almost noon your time, because the specific thing that I focused on for so long, just waiting for the thing to, the runners to basically have their lunchtime lull, if you will, and I would take my entry for a longer intraday trade. Uh, those have definitely become harder to get compared to a couple months ago, but then there's been some pretty solid follow through with some of these tickers that it's got me up early.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I mean you're gonna get it, man, but that internet would probably bug the hell out of me, man. I'll be completely honest
Yep.
with you.
Same.
Yeah, it's the best that I can do right now until until I get things kind of moved on. But I'm looking at it as a for the future. It's only making me stronger.
Definitely, it's giving you that. It's making you hungrier right now.
Yeah, and just I guess looking for kind of better ways of finding a way. And
Yeah. He'll get it, man. Just stick to it and, stay disciplined and keep on grinding, man.
Yep. Keep grinding.
That's all you can do. Name of the game. Like Mikey said, you don't quit until you, you don't lose until you quit.
yeah,
What about Mikey? What about Rubear? What about FOMO Sapien? What'd you guys trade, man? Come on.
What's up, Homo sapiens?
hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me?
Yo, what's
Yeah.
going on, man?
Just had some started off the day good, and then just lost it on A core, overtraded it, and ended up giving up a lot of gains off the bat.
Where'd you go wrong?
Started like semi chasing it towards the end of the day because I felt like it was gonna get to the $1 mark, and so I was just oversizing on the pullbacks off the 1 minute, and then just getting shaken out. Like it'd go down and then it would hold. I'd take them off the AEMA off the 1 minute, and then you can see it kind of just
Yeah.
starts, undercuts it really, and I exit, and then I jump back in when it's curling back over, just over and over, and just,
Kind of sounds like you gave yourself a headache.
yeah, it was a headache, but pretty like I don't know, pretty like a lot of shares size. So I don't total shares were like 60,000, was going in like 3,000, 5,000, and just trying to get cut out.
Yeah. You should refrain from the 1 minute. You should try and use it like the 3 to 5 and, look for 5 minute flags and things like that. The reason why I say though, 5 minute flags
I've
is
recently, we've talked about that with May. And dude, I don't even look at the 1 minute anymore.
yeah, the 1
The
minute
two
is
the
trouble, man.
smallest that I look at.
Like look at this, the 1 minute is trouble. I'm not gonna lie, this opening trade over here, or I'm sorry, on FNHC, I told you guys that I slapped it through the 1 minute. I was really on Weeble and I had a 30-second chart on. I slapped it through a 30-second chart, but I'm not even kidding. When I came to the 1 minute, seeing the flag that gave me the confidence to hold. But the 30-second dude was like literally like this, like just lines up and down, and like it was so like I wouldn't say terrifying, but it was like what the hell's going on over here. But yeah, like even Acore, like look at this 1 minute. It looks like shit. You go to a 3 minute, all right, we're getting something. You go to a 5 minute, all right, we're looking clean, clear breakthrough levels, clear holding of levels. And you go to a 10 minute, for example, and really freaking clean. You could have had a trend line drawn right here. Could have had your trend drawn like that. All right, here's one bounce, here's another bounce. Like so many opportunities. And the only reason why I say that, FOMO Sapiens, I'm not trying to like be an asshole to you or anything, but like there's no reason you should have got caught up on this name like you did, man.
Yeah, I know. So I've been doing really good with the 1 minute in the very open, say the first half hour. Because
Yeah.
it's like, it just goes. You know what I mean? You get that one chance grab, and then it's gone. And I mean, it's very green. And then
Yeah.
it was like, okay, then later on I come back, and when the volume pretty much dies down, then that 1 minute is where I totally agree with you. What you're saying, it's just a big mess. You
Yeah,
know
it's
what I
too
mean?
choppy. I agree with you as well. Like 1 minute for like coming into the open, I'm always using 1 minute for like the first 15 minutes. I'm using 1 minute, and then I'll switch to a 3, look for 3 minute flags, and I'll look for the 3 minute flags to form into 5 minute flags. Like for example, right here. So you could see, we kind of had this 1 minute consolidation coming down. Not the prettiest. So now I'm like, okay, let's see what the 3 minutes doing. 3 minute, you can kind of see we're trying to set up a flag. Okay, now let me look for that 3 minute flag to go into a 5 minute. Now you go to a 5 minute. Ah, there she is. Beautiful 5 minute flag. So just kind of a tip.
Yeah. No. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. So what do you know, in your experience,
you found more reliability in terms of like taking it off of the 8 versus taking it off of support resistance pivots?
So for me, I'm more of a support and resistance guy, and then I'll use the EMA 8, which I refer to as the trade line. I'll use that trade line to kind of keep me in the position longer because, like, okay, you see this area right over here. Like, I'm sure we go to the daily, we find a pivot or whatnot. Oh, I put an arrow, sorry. So we have this whole area, right? We got nothing here. There's no levels to go off of. You go to an hourly, you go to a daily. I'm sure you'll find so many levels to support the resistance and support areas over here. Just like 78 was a major level on the daily, but like just here in intraday, there's nothing telling me what's going to happen here. So then that's where I would use either my 3-minute EMA 8 or my 5-minute EMA 8, and look how we just ride it. Every pullback very low into the EMA, right into the EMA, and we don't break it. We bounce off of it and high volume push, kind of consolidate on it. High volume push, EMA 8 catches up, and this right here would have been a sell signal because we did flush through it, confirmed it as resistance. But then looking right some more, we get a little shaky action. Then finally right here you could see we tried to break over. I'm sure this candle came down, held it, closed over it. We have this extension, pull back in, hold the trade line. Like, this is just not looking at levels. This is just going off the trade line. We hold our trade line there on 2 candles, 3 candles, and then you could see, we ride it into the close. Every pullback, very low volume into the trade line, into new highs. Then right here you see we break below it, confirm it as resistance, and then we start coming down. But that's how I use the trade line.
The trade line when there's no resistance in that overhead area.
I
Intraday wise, like just like you showed right there.
yeah, and exactly, yeah. So for entries, I'm like, if I'm getting in a flag, I want to get as close as I can to either the EMA or a pivot. Like for example, right here, sure we flushed below the EMA 8 on the 5, but this is the ultimate level I was looking for. I was looking for a retest of our down trend line right over here. So that's why I was, willing to enter off the down trend line. Got 53 something, 53.28, something like that. And then ultimately, like, the trade line will just keep you in the trade longer. Like you could see we broke below it here. I was out of it by then, but this is just an example. We held this 57 area. So like, you got to use your trade line in conjunction with support and resistance to kind of have it as effective. But then when you get into what's considered to be, no man's land, that's when you would use the trade line to kind of just guide you through the whole trade.
You got your, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
I have a video on it too. I'm gonna send you the link in the chat. It's actually a strategy that I used. Should be somewhere over here. Where is it?
Yeah, just to add to that, he kind of talked too about how compounding things is definitely always better too. So if you have something pulling back to that 8 EMA and a pivot, my confidence always goes up for something like that.
Right. Yeah.
One other thing I've tried to do, but recently I've kind of pulled away from it a little bit, but especially earlier, anytime I had a decent green, I'm going to start trading with my risk getting way smaller. So whatever you I don't know how much you like to risk, but whatever it is, later in the day, my risk is way smaller, because all I'm trying to do is just wall path. Like, alright, say I'm up, whatever it is, like $100. It's like, okay, all I want to do is get to like 110, and then you get 110, you're like, hell yeah, and then 120, it's like really small. Like, I'm not trying to look for any runs or anything, just trying to get wall patterns.
Bingo.
That's something that helped me out, especially when I was learning more and more.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Great point, Jizban. Great point.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, no, I just overtraded it. I traded the morning and I was up, $500, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna, like, that was my goal. And then I was like, okay, one more trade. That one more trade turned it up. And it wasn't a flag set, it was just more of a trade sober and just a whole different setup or whatever like that. That thing took away all those gains, and then that's when I got into the whole volume.
Jeez, would you trade on sober? So
Like, are
I'm
you gonna cut immediately if it goes below the low of the existing candle that's turning on the 5?
not
Or
really, because like, so a lot of times in this market, you see a quick flush and a quick suck. So that's where you find your defined risk. So for me, I had two levels I was actually looking at. I was looking at this 51 area. I didn't want to risk off this 51 area because I was in at 53. I had some size, so it would have been a pretty hefty loss, not something I really wanted to take. But my risk on this trade was right here off of this 51 area. So, I'm sorry, 52 area. You could see it was kind of this pre-market resistance. I'll make this bigger for you. Left extension, make that 5. So this was my risk right off this 52 area pivot. You could see it was support, resistance, all pre-market. Then, finally, we held that area as our, down trend line. And so that was my ultimate risk. If I did have to, like, if I really had conviction and thought the trade was really going to work out and I really wanted to stay in it, then my max pain would have been off this 51 lower support area from pre-market.
so do it on mine, let's like pushing down, and then you're just getting in and say, like, the minute that you see it just violate that line, you're just gonna like mark it out.
Not really. So normally what I like to do is, I'll get a screenshot real quick. We'll kind of draw out an example. So let's say this is our stock we're trading, right? Stock ABC. And, this is our line, whatever. And stock, breaks over resistance, comes back in, retests it, does this, and then flushes through it. Right, I'm not selling right away on this flush. Why? Because the candle is still open. The 1 minute candle is still like this, and it comes down, then it comes down again, and then let's say it puts in a wick, and then the next candle is all the way here and puts in a fatter wick. So the reason why I won't sell right away is because I want to see a retest. So if it's momentum and that level is violated, usually we'll come back up right away to retest, and if we can't get back over that level, that's where I'm going to get out. Or if there's like a really clean level of support and we're trading around it like this, we get a couple moves up and we're still trading like this. Actually, there's a perfect example of this one.
Retest, when a retest, well, what if it perks up above that level? It only perks up, and then you're gonna cut immediately. Is that showing that?
No, so I'll really like to see a close below the level, like a 1 minute close. But if it's like I want to find the example for you right now because it's very clean. Forgot the freaking ticker already. Where is it? Somewhere right here. IMPX. So IMPX, I'll show you. So this is one I actually played, and looking at it on the 1 minute, look at this flat bottom of support right here.
Right.
You could see we have this flat bottom of support. I got long over here. You could see how this level wasn't violated. But then you see how, for example, like right over here, so we have this flat bottom, flat bottom, flat bottom. Then you see how it gets violated over here?
Right.
I would have cut on these. Why would I have cut? Why would I have cut? It's because this level was so clear, holding as support. It finally broke through, and then you see how we end up reclaiming it. That possibly could have provided another entry. But then when I got in over here, I remember looking left and I was saying, okay, this level is a brick wall. Like, we're going to need a lot of selling pressure to get through this level, and then that's what got me long. So to answer your question, normally on a 1 minute, I'll look for a close above and a retest, a close below and a retest. Usually on a 5 minute, if it's going to flush through a support level, it's going to flush. It's not going to, like, if the stock is strong, it's going to put in a wick like this, and it's going to suck right back up. Whereas on a 1 minute, if it's going to break down, for example, it's going to break down like this. You can see we broke below, closed below, tried to reclaim, couldn't reclaim, market trades lower.
So do you manage it? Do you see yourself managing it more on the 1 minute in terms of once you're in the trade? Or if you take a trade off the 5, you managing it off the 5?
Yeah, so normally I have a 1-5 in daily on. So when I'm in the trade off the 5 minute, if it's a 5 minute setup, I'd like to go off the 5 minute. So if I'm looking at a 5 minute setup, there's always going to be like 5 minute risk because 1 minute you're going to have a lot of levels, 5 minute you're going to have some levels. I'll be looking at both. I'll be looking at the tape. Excuse me, and overall, just when you start spotting weakness or you break that level on like heavy selling, like if you see a big wall come in on the tape and you break that risk level that you were risking off of or that support level, then that's kind of an indication that it's time to cut, because that seller that walked in just overpowered the buyers and all the previous sellers. So that's someone like with big size, and that's someone that can probably move the market lower.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Appreciate it.
Of course, man.
One thing I've really focused on recently that really has helped my trading too is I found one exact setup, and that was the freaking Mikey Underdog 3-bar 5-minute setup. That's all I want to try to trade.
Yeah, literally same.
It's a lot easier to focus in on one specific thing. Like, just find whatever makes sense to you, and find that one thing. If it makes 100% sense, just master that shit. Don't worry about other types of plays too. Everybody has different personalities, different things, and it's like whatever makes sense, whatever makes it's clear as day. It's hard to find too. It took me forever to find what worked for me. But definitely try to stick to one thing in my opinion.
Yeah, this is my old strategy. It was a EMA9 view up crossover on the 23.6. You look for the EMA9 to cross over the view up on the 23.6 or the 38.2. Then you look for the EMA8 to confirm as support. In this case, it was the view up. And then you just ride the trade line up on the 3-minute. But once Mikey introduced the 5-minute flags and, you know, the 5-minute flags and, you know, all these other patterns, the 3-bar, etc., I honestly have not used this strategy since.
Yeah, that 3-bar strategy.
Yeah, the flags they're a cheat code, man. Especially if you know how to trade them, like you know what to look for, and you know what's bullish and what's bearish. You know how to read the tape. Like they're freaking cheat codes, man.
Yep, I agree, and that's what I'm really starting to try to hamper in. Like only trade that. It's hard. There's always crap out there. Like, so much other trades that look juicy. I messed the salad today. I was like, yo, this 120 EMA looks really good.
Yeah.
Like, I want to take it, but I'm not. And then at the flush it, I mean, I could have scalped it for a little bit, but say I held it for a little bit longer and then flush it. So I was like, I'm glad I did.
Another thing, like any patterns, I'll take them, man. So like if you got a wedge break, I'll take it. You got a flag break, I'll take it. You got a pennant, I'll take it. You got a falling wedge, I'll take it.
That you do. I do not. I stick away from those. But they work. I'm not saying they don't
Yeah,
work.
yeah, they
They
do.
work.
They do. Everyone has their own style end of the day.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
What else? We got some more people in. We got Ticker Traders, we got Steve L.
Hey,
Yeah.
I got to bounce too, just giving you a heads up. So I'll be out here in a minute or two.
Yeah, whenever you gotta go, man, just do your thing.
I
Appreciate you
it.
joining as always, brother.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for hosting and everything.
Of
too.
course, man, of course. It's fun, man, you know?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Anyone else have anything at all?
What's up, Pete?
What's up, Ticker Traders?
I just woke up, man. I saw you were still on. I was like, I'll jump in here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. You probably talked about it already, but the only trade I had today was on freaking. I even forgot. I just looked at ABCT, I think it was.
AVCT. Let's check her out.
Oh, I saw you posting that in chat.
Oh man, I missed this flag in the
That's
morning.
the only trade I made. Yeah, in the morning. And and so I had just, I watched Mikey Underdog's new video, right? Where he's talking about looking for bullish, looking in the big picture with bullish, not just taking anything, looking for bullish trends. And so the first thing I did, and I was going through pre-market, was looking on the dailies on every ticker that I had on my stock list.
Yeah.
And so I pulled up ABCT, and I don't know if you pulled up on the daily, but I put it that middle candle thing
Inside
that we
bar
were talking
kinda.
about.
Yeah, that nice little low volume inside bar.
Yeah, that inside bar play, dude. I saw that, and so that's what I was watching that from the open. Um,
Yep. Nice
yeah,
inside
that's something
bar,
that
low
inside,
volume.
yeah, inside bar low volume. So I was watching that from the open, and then at so I was watching it, and then I was on the 5 minute, and around, I mean, you can see if you pull it up there. I'm not sure, around 9:45, they had they had that 5 minute flag and low volume pullback,
Yep.
and it was also had made that low, so I tagged that thing, dude. I tagged that thing so bad. Um, Once it around 170.
Nice. So right in this area, really nice. You know, I actually seen this flag in the
Yeah,
morning, and I was too busy on Acor, but I remember looking back a few moments later, seeing this leg it put in, and I was like, holy smokes! Like this was a clean leg, man.
yeah. So I tagged that thing at 170. I went anyway. And then I was looking for it to break 190. I think 188, and 190 around that area.
Yeah,
It was a previous
189
day
ish.
high actually. So that was a previous day high. And so once it broke 190, I cut 50% on that. And then I just I just held it. My stop loss was down at the low, and like 165, I think, like 5 cent risk, and then it went up to two, and then it just took off, went up to two, and then I took like $2. Okay, that's a fine level, so I took off another 25%, and then you can't really see on the 5 minute, but if you jump into the 1 minute, and buyers started to come in,
Yep.
and then I brought my stop loss up to like 195, I think it was, and so I ended up taking off 25% at 195,
Nice,
and
man.
that was around 10:05 a.m. And by that time I was all out. I was wondering though, there was a pivot at like 188, 190, which was the high that it made. So I'm
Yep.
kind of thinking, oh man, I took it off at my stop loss, and which is because I moved my stop loss up, sorry, but there was still with that pivot, and then you could see it bounce even more. So I was kind of wondering, oh, maybe I took it off too early or whatever. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I see. You know, we had this daily pivot, came up, kind of put in a 1 minute flag right here. Nice, beautiful VPA on this 1 minute flag. Buyers step in,
Yeah,
get the next leg, kind of consolidate over this high, which would have been $2, and then made that move higher. Do I think you cut it short? Um, no. You caught a great trade, man. You caught a like put just to put this in perspective, man. You caught a beautiful move. 170s all the way up to twos. You caught a great trade, man. Even the 180s,
yeah.
like great trade.
And that was a great trade. And I thought, oh man, Mikey's video. If I had much my daily, I probably, yeah, I don't know. And I got really excited, and that's why I posted the chart. But I kind of felt there that I kind of cut myself short because there was that pivot. If I would have given a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah, that
But
pivot
yeah, it was a
was
good
is
trade.
really clean. But yeah, no, great freaking trade, dude. Really proud of you. Really nice.
Thanks, man. And by that time, I was on a cash account, and I didn't have any more buying power, so that was the only trade I had.
Hey, one and done, man. Those are the best mornings.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, ticker
And
traders.
so yeah, that was a good one. I liked it.
Really nice one. Was that? Yeah, you just said that was your only one for the day. Yeah, yeah, really clean, man. I
Yeah,
liked how you noticed that inside bar and you went with it. You found your own idea. You executed on your own idea. and this is how your own idea played out. Like really, really nice, man. Good job.
Yeah, it felt really good, that inside bar play. I think I'm going to look for dailies and look for other bullish signs, inside bar plays. I think that's going to be the first thing I do.
Hell yeah, man.
To a trade, to a pre-market.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, nice. Good
But
job.
yeah, 5-minute flags, dude, 5-minute flags.
5 minute flags, baby. Hey, I swear to God, when I seen this 5 minute flag, I was on live with my friend. I was like, his name is Heesh. I'm like, Heesh, bro, slap this flag. This thing is sick, man. It's gonna run. You're like, no, man, we're on Acor. I don't want to get in another trade right now. I'm like, all right, whatever. Fuck you, whatever. And this thing opens up, puts in another 5 minute flag. We didn't add up here because Acor was running, and then it put in another leg, and I was like, oh my God, bro, like what are we doing? And
That was
this flag was so clean. I remember looking at it, and I didn't add because I was in Acor, and I'm looking at it now. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm full of regret right now. Like, man, this flag would have paid right alongside Acor, but at least ticker traders caught it, right?
yep.
That was awesome. I didn't even see Acor. What happened with that? Was there another 5-minute flag in the morning?
Oh man, Acor was. This is Acor.
You probably was money you could have bought as many shares as you wanted.
Yeah, this right here, man. I got long off this 5 minute flag with the downtrend retest. Sold my first piece out, completely into the 64s on the break. My target was 63s. Went to the gym for this, just to quickly recap it. Got long again on this 5 minute flag right here at 87, I believe. Took some off into 90s. Got my last piece off at 89 on this drop. I didn't want to take it into after hours. But yeah, this is Acor, man. It's a stock that went from 46 cents to $1.06 in the after hours, netting anyone who caught the bottom to the top a 128% gain.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I need to start waking up even earlier. I don't know, it's hard for me to wake up at like 3 a.m.
Honestly, this one, just look at the top gainers. You don't even have to. You can wake up like 5 minutes before market open and look at the top gainers, and eventually one will, set up and start opening up for you. Like, the only reason why I say that is I always like wonder, why do people wake up so early? Like, you don't need to wake up so early. Like,
Well, I meant like 3 a.m. my time. That would be power hour during you guys' time, 3 p.m.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
yeah, I'm in pre-market. That's how I caught.
Oh.
That's why I did my research and stuff. But like,
Oh,
so
disregard
I'm
what I
all
said
day.
then. Forget what I said. Actually, no, like, I still wonder why people wake up so early. Like, there's guys that wake up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. will roll around, they'll be like, bro, the market's so slow. And I'll be like, bro, the market didn't even open. What are you doing? you know?
Think about 4 a.m. to
Yeah, I'm in there.
interaction. You'll know what tickers are moving like. Right? You have to hit it like about a 1 minute chart.
Yeah, but like for me, I'll
Like I do this,
just top
I
gainers,
usually
man.
in there in pre-market, but I can't trade on Thinkorswim until 7 a.m. You guys' time, 7 p.m. mine anyway. But I do
Yeah.
I usually wake up at 5 a.m., which is 6 now, but yeah, it's kind of rough to stay up all night.
On West Coast time. Are you guys?
I'm
East Coast?
yeah, I'm East Coast, so I get up at like 8 a.m., sometimes 8:30 a.m. Scroll through the news, scroll through the top gainers, and that's how I find all my trades.
You have to.
Yeah, I think most of the volume.
Yeah. Do you guys have trade ideas, or you guys just do Thinkorswim?
Yeah, I got trade ideas. It's the best thing ever, man. It's so helpful. But honestly, I don't use the trade ideas in the morning. I really only use the momentum scanner, which are like, I have the gappers, I have the El Horo, whatever you want to call it. But mainly like, so during the day, this is how my setup will look. It'll literally be like this.
So have you so what part of the momentum scanner did you use today? I just want to know because like all the gappers are already there, right?
Yeah, so the gappers I get from my Weeble.
Okay.
It has like a top gainers list, and that's how I've been doing it ever since I started trading. So that's why I just do it off of that. Like, that's what I'm used to. I only got trade ideas, like, I guess you could say, at the start of next year. I bought the yearly whatever. So But like this, I don't really use at all. Like this is the only thing I'm using. I believe it's called Chizard Momo Beast. This is a setup from Mikey Underdog, and basically, whenever a stock gets momentum, whenever a stock hits high day, whenever a stock halts up or down, the scanner calls it out. So like for example, Acor, when it was ripping over here, like this scanner, all you heard was Acor, 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 Acor. Like I'm sure you know how it goes.
I did, okay. And
But
now, have you used it to make trades still that you didn't already see that's on your list, or no?
no, so like the top gainers is really the same as Weibo, but like sometimes there'll be a stock that's not on my watch list that the Momo B scanner will call out, and I'll make a trade through there. And then another thing I want to note really quickly is if you go to the server guide in this floor or in this channel, this is the thing right over here. I have the whole layout. So if you want the exact scan settings, you can go here and it's over here. And then we also have a bunch of scripts here for TDM Air Trade. Very
Okay.
helpful, yeah.
Okay. Alright. Cool. Yeah, I code my Thinkorswim as well, find things, but I just compare sometimes from like like the free trade ideas that's on like YouTube and stuff like that. People just stream for free.
Yeah. I used
Things that
to go ahead.
no, I mean I haven't. Besides like something that's running randomly, I'll just catch it just like a few minutes before. Thinkorswims is like 3 minutes. Every 3 minutes it scans versus like every microsecond.
Oh yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I feel
I
like
learned
trade
about.
ideas is more real time.
Yeah, it's real time. But those are all ones that are just fresh tickers that, like everything that's gaps, I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Platform, in pre-market, and then obviously it just carries over to the normal market. But I wanted to know if you actually use the Momo like a fresh new ticker that's going. I mean, I did use check in here.
Yeah, so sometimes there'll be like one, but it's not like every day. It's kind of like I'd say maybe once in a blue moon, because kind of everything that's running is you already have it on your watch list.
Maybe that's for. So can you put on IMPX really quick? I tried
Yeah.
IMPX as well.
Yeah, we'll take a look at INPX. Did you say INPX?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So this one, talking about the flags or whatever like that. So you know how I don't know if you mentioned. Do you like taking flags that are before the breakout or both? Like.
Yeah, so normally a flag, whenever I play a flag, like for example, I played this 10-minute flag right here. I got long into this 880 area pivot. I wouldn't play the break because sometimes, like, okay, look, let's just compare the two real quick. Let's say I played the break. I would have got in at 917, would have got up to 928, would have got stuffed on. Whereas if I get as close as I can to the lower pivot, in this case it would have been 880s, I would have been risking way less on the trade, and I would have made way more. In like my case, I got long in the 890s, and I got my last piece off into the 915 area. So
Yeah. Okay, I thought you meant when you meant break it. Yeah.
yeah,
Now, my
the
entries are always on the dip buys as well. I wouldn't take a breakout like that. Yeah, either because it would be too high. I thought when you said break, you meant like, okay, this stock's about to break out, and the flag is near the breakout versus one that has all this overhead resistance.
yeah.
If you would you take the flags? Like, if you look at it, like, would you take any of those up prior to where your cursor is, all the way to the left? Would you take any of those as flags?
Maybe this
Basically,
one right
oh,
here.
Yeah.
Kind of see one right here. Not the cleanest because you have heavy sell and the VPA isn't the cleanest, but if you go to like maybe the 10-minute, maybe it's cleaner. Yeah, not really. Yeah, no, I wouldn't really. I mean, it does have the flag formation. Like, here's another one, but you could see the selling volume is slowly picking up. Here's kind of another one, but then you have that nasty VPA here. Yeah, I don't really see many flags in this one, but one thing I did see on this one, and I didn't draw my line completely, but I remember we had this little wedge over here, and I'll show you the other side of it. And so this is something I would take. So we get our wedge break, high volume, low VPA pullback, retest of our wedge. We hold the trade line, or I'm sorry, not the trade line. We hold the wedge line, downtrend line, whatever you want to call it. And if I actually make it, connect to the highs, it'll look much better. Yeah, there you go. So you can see how we came right down to it and bounced. So this would have provided you a really great entry, very low risk. And then you could have picked any one of these pivots to risk off of. So if you're getting in near 770, you could have risked like 765, 770, even if you wanted to, because it was a pivot right over here. So that's just like another quick example of another trade I'll take. But for
You take that area right there off of VWAP.
exactly, yeah, you can even take the reclaim of VWAP right here, right before it put in this leg. Even these low volume dips into the trade line. But
That candle, a big flush one.
this one, not really. So I wouldn't want to enter on this. But if I was in a position down here, then I would have, had my pivots drawn out, and I would have said, okay, we flushed into our pivot. Let's go to a 1 minute real quick. Let's get some, information on this candle. Let's see what's really going on, and see, where is that? Right over here. You can see, we flushed, failed follow through. I assume, right when this flush, it got sucked up immediately. And so realistically,
Once you see that, say you see that, that's the result of it right there. Boom, it went down, and say you got flushed up, and that's where, say the closing is like where you're looking at it. But that candle, would you not be like, oh, that's kind of like a kill candle, I'm not gonna take this trade, or would you look at it as in like, oh, this got sucked up, and I'm gonna get long right here?
no. So if I seen this and I wasn't already in the position, it's not something I would really be interested in, no, because it's already shown me that it has, um, a lot of range. Like it can whipsaw really quickly. And if I'm not in it where I think, like, because looking at it right now as well, like I don't see a setup up here, but down here I see a setup. I see a clean, wedge break plus retest. Over here,
Let's say forget that candle. Look at two candles before that. It's like you got that, look, the high volume momentum, green candle, volume increasing. Then you got a nice VPA, zero step down. Two candles before that kill candle. Like look at.
yeah,
how
sorry, I
that
zoomed
flash.
in too far.
Uh,
So right over here, like this area.
yeah, just that area, and subtract the. Yeah, see how the VPA looks good. The momentum, the volume, kind of went up, and then. And you don't even have to look at this green candle, the latest green candle, but you're like, okay, it's coming down, and it's about to touch that 8, which then it touches that 8, you grab it.
Yeah, that's something I would have taken.
Yeah, that's I think I probably jabbed it there too.
I would have taken it for this specific reason. High volume push and then hold of the $8 area pivot, which was pre-market resistance.
Market resistance, yeah, and then you see that candle hat. Where are you stopping out now? Or are you still stopping out down there, 795?
Stop loss.
Say you got up the trade. Like what would be?
Stop loss would be below this previous high area over here, $8.
$8, okay. So that's in. You put your like hard stops in, or you?
No, mental. Only hard if I'm like leaving.
Okay.
Like if I'm getting away from my desk, I gotta use the bathroom or go grab some food or something, then I'll put a hard stop. But that's if I'm in a position. But if I'm sitting here at my desk and I'm able to monitor it, then it'll be all mental.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
How long you been trading?
I've been trading now almost 2 years, so I think I'm coming up on 2 years. I think in January, I think like January 17 or something, that'll mark 2 years for me. So it's been like a year and a half now.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
You've been trading the flags the whole time?
No, so I had a different strategy. I took this like whole course and everything. It was like this hedge fund guy, whatever, and he taught me this EMA 9 times view up strategy. I have a video on it on my YouTube, the one that I sent you. And so I was trading that strategy. The strategy was treating me well. I knew about patterns. I knew about support and resistance, all that stuff. And then just like recently this year when Mikey introduced us to the 5 minute flags and everything, that's when I realized, like, all right, these 5 minute flags have a way higher probability than my like 5 minute flags are quick money. The setup that I was using, like, there would be, like, I swear there would be weeks where I would trade maybe 2 trades the whole week because I couldn't find my setup in it. And like the 5 minute flags, you can find the setup anywhere, and you can, get a good entry and a good move out of it. So that's why I shifted over to the 5 minute flags.
Yeah, I trained 5 minutes, 5 minute flags a few years ago, but I was just, um, when the momentum was good, you could take the breaks of those 5 minute flags.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, that's what I used to, but and then I would only take them in the morning. They were beautiful. They worked out good. I dumped it because they would always fail, but I would never be buying dips on them. Now I'm
Yeah,
just starting to put dips on them, and which I don't know why. There was a point in time I was doing that, but there was also a point in time in the market where it was like you didn't get the dip or you didn't get the fill, So it was like all you gotta do is take the break and you're good. But
yeah,
the market allows for that. Right now, it's
yeah. I hear you. One of the main reasons I focus more on the dip now is because, like, I'm currently trying to size up way heavier, and so, like, I don't want to buy the breakout and get flushed because then it'll be like a loss that, I don't really want to take. So that's why, the lower pivots, they'll give me the better entry with, better risk. And, you know as you get bigger as a trader and your account gets bigger, you got to be more worried about risk, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, same thing with you need the volume there as well, right? You get your share size on, get the volume.
Exactly, yeah. You need the right volume. You gotta, like, if there's low volume and you exit, you're gonna crash the stock.
Yeah, exactly. I've done that myself
Yeah,
many times before, and it's just like, all right, I'll just. And that's
like,
why,
oops.
yeah. I mean, sometimes you don't have a choice, right? You
Yeah,
just get uglier than what it is. It's like uglier, uglier.
yeah,
Well, that's
yeah.
so
Well,
you take you take 10 minute flags and all that. Oh, wait, what I was gonna ask you is how about the 5 minute flags, like the
yeah.
1 minute flags, like in the morning they work out great over pivots and hold and I get it, whatnot, they work out beautifully because like you get in and it just goes or you're like stopped out for a type stop loss because it's either gonna work or not because the volume's there, the momentum's there. You get that one shot entry only and then it's gone. It's a beautiful thing, but on the 5 minute later on in the day, not the morning, some of them they just keep on like the next 5 minute candle. Like say you get your entry, and then like some of them end up going like that 1 minute. And you're like, all right, cool. Like at least you're in green for a portion of the time. You can manage your risk or set your break even or do however you play or you manage your risk after that point. But the ones that end up just going kind of sideways, do you at a certain point, even though it's holding up, do you say, well, there's just too much time, this flag is going sideways too much that it's losing momentum? The volume is just drying up, doesn't matter red and green, that you just say it's time to cut? Is it better?
Uh,
Have you noticed, or is it like
Honestly, I get what you're saying, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I get what you're saying, and that was kind of me today on Acor. So when I had this 5 minute flag on Acor over here, I felt like this was taking too long. I felt like, okay, we should have had 2 or 3 retests, and we should have broke out. And I remember I was on the live with my friend, and we were flipping through the 3 and 5 minute, and we're both looking at it like, man, this flag is taking too long. This thing should have broken out already. But the way I like to think about trading is like a robot. If I'm getting in my position at $5 and my stop loss is at 4.90 and my first take profit is at $5.10, if 4.90 is not hit, I'm not getting out. And I'm not taking a piece off until, like, oh, okay, if we get to like 508, 509, 510, yeah, I'll peel a piece off. I'm not going to be dumb, I'm not going to not take profits when it's on the table, but until we reach 490, I am not getting out of the position. So if this stock, like, my stop loss on this was 52 area. So if this stock came down to like I'm sorry, 51. So if this stock came to like 52s and then came to 53 and then came back down to 51.8, and then came back up to 53. I'm not getting out. Why? Because 51 was not broken, 51 was not violated, therefore my stop was not hit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's like that's the biggest thing that I'm more so dealing with, is just that I don't know, like I wanted to, like, I don't know if I'm at that point. Yeah, I mean,
Are you defining your risk before you get in the trade?
yeah, in terms of like the level, yeah, defining the risk before I get in the
As
trade.
in how much money you're potentially going to lose.
Yeah,
Okay, then
yeah,
then it could be if you're kind of finding yourself selling out too early, like if you get a down move and you're like shit, I gotta sell out.
yeah,
Normally that's because you're risking too much. That's actually something I learned in the course I took, and the guy would always talk about. He's like, when I was at this hedge fund, whatever, we're working in New York, and I'll take a trade, and someone in the room would follow me, and then they'll ask me 5 minutes. The trade will be down like $2 or something, and like $2 from their average, and then they'll be like, "Are you still in this trade? Are you still in this trade?" And he's like, "That's how I know these people are not really able to risk what they're risking. Like their emotions are not
yeah,
really accepting that risk." So the only way to overcome it is to size down and really accept that risk. So if you think you're able to risk 300, but you're on your you're sweating and you're going crazy, when you're down 150, then your risk is 150, not $300.
yeah, yeah, no, no, I get that. No, my thing was more so, I'm okay with that risk because it's already like kind of predefined and I know what level I should be exiting. Mine's more like the momentum is there. Now it's flagging exactly what you went through on that E core. Now it's flagging, and then now it's not going anywhere. It's like the play just freaking died. Like, so is it not gonna go? And so it's more of like, do I want to even risk the original risk level now at this point, because I'm expecting it to go like you know what I mean, like the 1 minute where, like I said, like in the morning where it is gonna go. You know what I mean? The momentum is
Yeah,
there. You're either gonna get stopped out quickly and notice your results, or you're gonna get it's gonna go your way and you're gonna get those results. But when you get a nice flag like that, and then it's like, okay, cool, the momentum's coming in. He sees this chart, it starts flagging, low BPA, and then nothing. You know what I mean? It's just like another sideways bar, another bar,
yeah.
another
So
bar,
if
another.
if it goes like sideways, like for like the rest of the day, then yeah, maybe I'll cut, because I'm not really want to take things into after hours. But like, to put this kind of in a little more perspective, like this was a 5 minute flag we played on FNHC last week, I believe on Friday. Look how long this flag took. It took from 11:45 a.m. It broke out at 2:30, or I'm sorry, 1:30 p.m.
Yeah, and I mean, you probably entered like what, 1/4 of the way into it, right? Maybe on
I
that one.
honestly, I honestly entered all the way over here at
You
43.5.
entered it.
Yeah, I
But if you
literally,
were to have entered off the, say, the 8 or the
if I entered in this, I would have stayed in it, because I was literally watching it for like the whole 2 hours, 3 hours, you could say, like waiting for
yeah,
the break so I could get into it.
gotcha, okay.
And there were some people in the Goblin Gang, actually, like Mikey, Dom, RCB. They were all in it, just patiently waiting, and like, it kind of puts emphasis on the name of the game, which is patience.
Yeah, and patience, okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I noticed in the 5 sometimes, where I like that it has a lot of good trades, but yeah, it's just my own personal thing. Like when it ends up going like what you're showing right there, sitting through it. I mean, you entered in at the very end, so you didn't have to sit through anything. But if I were to have entered in, like say on that, like way earlier and sitting through it, getting
Yeah.
through a position, and you're waiting so long, you're like, man, this thing just is it. Is it play dead now? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you'll get annoyed. Yeah, I feel you. You'll be like, is it dead? Like, what's going on here? Where's the volume? And
yeah, where the volume is this like even a flag anymore now? You know, like
yeah,
is it?
that's
I
where
mean,
it comes into like just following your plan. You know, your stop is here. You don't stop till it gets there, because like, let's say you got out just because you were like, all right, this thing ain't doing nothing, and then you look back 2 minutes later and you see this move. You're like, damn, my stop loss wasn't hit, but my take profits were hit. So, but yeah, I get what you mean. It can get annoying sometimes. Like, I'm definitely sure there's times where I've been like, damn, where's the volume? And like, there's been a good setup, just no volume, and it happens. But we've been on for 2 hours. I'm about to go enjoy some dinner, so I will catch you guys tomorrow, hopefully, for tomorrow's review. I appreciate everyone for joining, and hope someone found some value in this.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate your help.
Of
I'll
course,
definitely
man.
dinner.
You as well.
Sorry,
Or, of course, ticker traders. Anything for you, man. Alrighty, guys.